Hello guys and gals, and welcome to another episode of Unique Items. Today we're going to be taking a look at one of the Druid rings, and this is the Earthbreaker Ancestral Unique Ring. The Earthbreaker ring is based around the Landslide ability, so it is a hyper-specific item. It is a Druid item, and it is also hyper-specific to Landslide itself. And let's go over the ring together and we'll talk about it. So it has a critical strike chance of 9 to 11%, which is nice. It also has a 10.5 to 15% increase to Earth attack speeds. So anything that is considered an Earth skill would get the attack speed bonus, which would go across a lot of skills. There's also a 16 to 25% chance for landslide projectiles to cast twice, which of course you're really going to want. And it kind of frees up your weapons a little bit because you won't necessarily need on each weapon if you have it also on the ring. On top of this, we also have a +3 to the landslide ability itself, which is the ability that it's beefing up, and then the meat and potatoes of the ring, which is the unique effect. Casts of landslide leave behind tectonic spikes that deal up to 4,812 physical damage over 2 seconds. Spawning a landslide pillar within the tectonic spikes has a 30% chance to spawn 2 instead. So when you put this on, you're going to notice a pretty big increase in the number of landslides that you currently have active. Let's start off without the ring first, just as an example, and we're going to show off what it looks like without the ring. As you can see, not like the most amazing thing in the world, but it's there, and it does some damage. However, with the ring, what you're going to notice is that landslide starts to do a hell of a lot more, and we get tons of tectonic spikes and all sorts of other crazy things going, and the lightning was actually coming from the Nature's Fury passive, by the way. So the Earthbreaker ring itself tends to give a lot of benefit to the landslide ability and makes it a hell of a lot stronger as a result, and is going to be one of those items that you're definitely going to want to equip to your landslide druid. Now there's a lot of ways that you can get landslide, and I feel like we need to go over to the occultist and we need to talk about some of these aspects that you can potentially tie together with the Earthbreaker ring. So first off, let's just go ahead and type in a landslide. So number 1, we have Aftershock, which is landslides Earth Spillers strike a second time and deal an additional 13% bonus damage per hit, which is something that you're really going to want to put along with this because you're going to get more landslides, and more landslides, of course, equals more damage. We also have the aspect of Trampled Earth, which is Trample now summons 6 landslide pillars of Earth during its duration that deals 100% normal damage. Trample is now also a nature magic skill and an Earth skill. So basically what this does is it's going to give you additional trample landslides when you're trampling. So you can tie that into the build. And we also have the subterranean aspect, which is also really neat, is that basically whenever you cast a poison creeper, you're also going to get a landslide that casts in a circle around you and deals 30% increased damage to poisoned enemies. This one also works together with the aspect of the Aftershock, causing the subterranean aspect to trigger twice. So if you were to use, for instance, the aspect of Aftershock and the subterranean aspect and the Earthbreaker's ring all together at the same time, spamming, of course, your poison creeper as much as you possibly could, and using your landslides as much as you possibly could, you're going to get a huge number of landslides just constantly going on a regular basis. And I have done the poison creeper landslide build, and it's amazingly fun. And this was before the Earthbreaker, and the Earthbreaker is just going to make it even more fun because you're going to have even more landslides active at a given time.
Mr. Goody Two Shoes, Mr. Goody Two Shoes. Ginger Evil Mentor here. Why bother farming when you can go to MMOEXP.com and simply purchase your items in gold? GGM would have you farm the items. What a pathetic being. Use code GEM Ginger Evil Mentor for 6% off your entire purchase. And don't tell Ginger Gaming Mentor that I was here.
Now, another thing that feeds into this that you definitely might want to consider is the Spirit Boons. So in the Spirit Boons, when you take a look at the Spirit Boons for the Druid has one in particular called the Pack Leader, which is critical strikes have up to a 25% chance to reset cooldowns of your companion skills. Also, they added the Pack the Storm's Companion pants this season with new buffs, and one of the buffs that they added on there was up to a 75% lucky hit bonus for the pack leader, or up to 85% actually to the pack leader bonus, which basically means you're going to get like instant resets on that ability. And when you put on the pants and you take a look at the Spirit Boon, what you'll notice is now it says a 45% chance to reset the Poison Creeper, which is kind of insane. And so if you tie these pants together with the Earthbreaker ring, and of course using the double aspects and all the other beautiful things, you're going to be able to reset your Poison Creeper with exceedingly fast efficiency, which means that the Poison Creeper will always be up to poison everything and give you free landslides. And then we can take this a step further, which is with the landslide ability itself. So the landslide ability itself has this special ability called Primal Landslide, which is when you immobilize or stun an enemy, you gain a Terra Mote. Each enemy hit by landslide consumes a Terra Mote, causing a guaranteed critical strike with 40% times increased critical strike damage. Bosses have up to a 10% chance to grant a Terra Mote when hit. And what does this mean? Well, it means that because the pack leader buff requires you to have a critical strike to cause it to reset, and the Terra Motes basically guarantee critical strikes, it means that Landslide ends up guaranteeing the reset of pack leader pretty much indefinitely. And through the use of the Storm's Companion pants, you can essentially have 100% uptime on your Poison Creeper to spam as many times as you would want to. It's actually kind of insane. The only complaint that I have about this particular build is not in terms of damage. It's actually in terms of how freaking loud it is. Like, oh my dear Lord Jesus, once you get everything running, all the landslides that you're casting, the landslides that your Poison Creeper are casting, the double landslide that your Poison Creeper is casting, your double landslides, the tectonic spikes that are coming out, and the whole 9 yards, and it just is so ridiculously loud. I cannot explain how ridiculously loud it is. The first time you play it, you will understand exactly what I'm talking about. They really need to do something about the insane volume of all the landslide abilities. The special flavor text on this is: when Ariat was sundered, the world quaked. The Druid Aglain journeyed far to chronicle the aftermath. Grief-stricken by the great mountain king's fall, he rent the earth anew. Interesting. Rent the earth anew. It's an odd way of saying it. Now, if you're trying to get your hands on this particular ring, you can, of course, target farm this item specifically from Grigore the Galvanic Saint. If you ever want to look up where a specific item drops, we do have a tool on here called Target Farming Uniques. It's on Diablo 4.life, and you can very easily pull up anything you want to and figure out where these items come from. So if you're trying to farm the Earthbreaker specifically, you need Living Steel with Grigore, and Grigore is located right over here. He is in the Hall of the Penitent, just south of Kedbardu. As always, I do appreciate you guys joining me for these videos, even when we're just talking about the Earthbreaker ring. And as always, be sure to hit that like button and the subscribe button on the way out, and keep watching.